In the grasslands and bracken of the UK lurks a fearsome predator, and when cornered, it can bite. But it can also be incredibly romantic, with a courtship that can last several days. It is, of course, the UK's only venomous snake. It is the adder. Dedicating 20 years to the snake, ecologist Nigel Hand is responsible for documenting the 40 or so adders that live on this part of the Malvern Hills. So, Nigel, I'm presuming the reason why you're dragging me up this hill is because it's good for adders. Why?
It's the mixture of vegetation, Mike. You've got long and short, you know, where this bracken is and the longer grass. Affords them protection, cover, and obviously the open areas are good for basking in. Being cold-blooded, they need to sit out in the sun on a regular basis.
They like a bit of sun, a bit like ourselves. Because Nigel's job is to study the adders and find out how they live, he tracks and photographs each one and even gives them names. Well, I've seen a book on adders, but not an adder book. Like this, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's like an adder ID book.
And all these are pictures that are taken from this very site?
Yes, yeah.
And how are you identifying the individual animals?
Well, there's a couple of ways of doing it. Obviously, you get a good headshot of the adder. Those marks won't change throughout the course of its life, so you get to know that individual adder. And you know exactly, when you've got your book there, that if you see an adder in a particular site, it's probably thin zig or raven or silhouette.
Rather helpfully, each adder tends to return to the same place to bask. And after a couple of hours searching, we find an adder out in the sun. At last we've found one. Oh, what a beautiful snake. Do you actually recognise her?
There's two that bask in this particular spot. I haven't got a name for this one, strangely, but she's been seen at least twice now in this particular area.
Nigel, top find. Can't believe we got it. But I hear you've got a theory.
I have, yeah. On these hot, balmy summer nights, I'm sure that they're out hunting at night.
Nigel thinks this is because, unlike us humans, who have round pupils, adders have elliptical ones, usually found in animals that hunt in poor light, like cats. He's spent many long nights trying to track them down with an infrared camera, but without success. So we brought in a thermal imaging camera to try and help. But will a cold-blooded creature show up on a heat-seeking device? If you look at my face, it's so warm, it's bright and red. But if you check out the adder, the great news is it's glowing like a Belisha beacon. So with a bit of luck, if they're showing like that, we might be in luck. But this adder had been basking in the sun, so as they cool down during the evening, will they stand out? We might be on a hiding to nothing. But it's close to midnight, it's pitch dark as you can see, and it's time to track down some adders. Another problem is that adders only need between 6 to 12 meals a year, so they might not be hungry and won't be hunting. Watch the ditch. And the other thing is that they react to vibration, so going bump in the night won't be helping. Then we stumble across a creature that had failed to show up on our thermal imaging camera. We've got a toad here. Well, Nigel, we're walking up trying to find adders. We found some snake food.
Yeah, well, the grass snakes on this site, this is their sole prey, really, the common toad. So it's interesting to see that these are on the move tonight.
If I put my hand behind, you can see the heat of my hand, but you can't pick up the toad at all because it's so cold. But if I put it into Nigel's hand, probably looks very interesting. You can see the heat there. There's a big cold black blob in the middle of your hand. And as hard as we tried, the toad was our only success. Well, Nigel, I think we have to admit defeat and adjourn for the evening, because if I'm perfectly honest, I think we need to adopt a different technique.
Yeah, Mike, I think we've both had enough.
Tremendous ad-libbing.